You know, Disney has a really big knack of delivering solid stories with their animated movies. And this one was no different. I've a soft spot pretty much. I would say I have a heart, but I guess, yes, I have a soft spot for superhero movies. And this 2014 film that I've never seen until recently pretty much hit that soft spot and hit on some very deep topics that, you know, good for Disney for doing that. Good for them. And on this episode movie breakdown, I'm going to review the movie Big Hero 6 from 2014. What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Movie Breakdowns. I'm your host, Ali Zakka. What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Movie Breakdowns. I'm your host, Ali Zakka. What Movie Breakdowns? A movie review series look at new and old movies, give them a grade, 8 through up, plus or minus do count. And if there's a movie want me to review, let me know. Please put in the comment section below and I can get to as best I can. Also have a Patreon/Ali Zakka. For $2 a month, your review gets cut in front of everybody because you're paying for my services. You also get trailer reactions, trailer reviews, much more stuff way before it comes out on YouTube and Facebook. And thank you guys so much. I appreciate y'all. Now, let's go ahead and get into today's episode, and this is a spoiler review of 2014's Big Hero 6. And what is Big Hero 6 about? Well, it's about a young boy named Hero who teams up with a robotic nurse called Baymax, and they go on a kind of a journey to try to solve a mystery, and that involves a whole team of people and a new group of superheroes in this Disney movie. That's the best way to sum it up without actually going into a lot of details on just a quick synopsis of what this movie is about. And first thoughts here, this movie is a lot deeper than just that plot. It's really about a movie about a boy named Hero who loses his older brother Tadashi to a fire, and also loses Mr. Callaghan, who is Tadashi's teacher. And this boy is dealing with grief of his brother's passing, and then as he's dealing with that, one of his brother's inventions, Baymax, who is this robotic nurse that wants to help everybody, that's how Tadashi made him be, tries to help Hero deal with his grief of losing his brother, his grief of loss. And as they're trying to work this through, Hero finds out that maybe the fire that caused his brother's demise wasn't an accident but an actual planned event. And then they try to find out who is behind this fire. Thus they meet a villain with, I don't even know, they even give him a name. It's just a maskless villain who wears a mask, and they try to figure out who this villain is and what his motives are. And at the same time, Hero gets a group of friends together and then create a super team to stop this villain who plans are to pretty much hurt everybody and create a portal in the middle of this new city called San Francisco, which is a mix of Tokyo and San Francisco combined. That's kind of the gist of it. And then you kind of find out that the villain in this movie is actually not really a villain of just evil, but he's actually going on a revenge tour because he lost his daughter to another scientific invention. So he's on a revenge tour. So this whole movie is about grief and revenge. And there's a moment where Hero actually get the opportunity to take revenge and take life. And he not just trains Baymax to do it, but he commands Baymax to kill. And there's a very moment where just pure music, no sound other than the music playing, where in this movie where Hero succumbs to his anger, succumbs to rage, and then gets talked out of it when he couldn't complete his mission of killing the guy who killed his brother, and then realizing what he was about to do was wrong and horrible, and realized that I used my grief and anger for harm, and that's what the main villain has done in this movie. He uses grief and anger for harm. This movie is a really big movie on grief and loss and anger, revenge and payback. Like, it's a really deep movie under this animated, bright, wonderful, colored CGI and animation. Just it's really a really deep movie underneath all that, like, just color filled movie. This movie is very beautiful and interesting to watch and amazing to look at, even in the year 2021. And then when you remove that away and just look at the character and the story development that actually is there, you're like, man, this is a lot deeper of a movie than I expected. And I enjoyed it. I really did. The only thing about it is that, like, it's a Disney movie, so I knew the trope of, well, the guy's body's not there, he's probably still alive, and the villain who is masked, when he gets revealed, it's going to be one of three people, and that's the sleazy businessman who we think is sleazy because the characters think he's sleazy because some things he said when we first meet him. The teacher of the nerd class who kind of promotes everybody to use their technology, use their brains to create different things to help out society. Or Tadashi, Hiro's older brother, and he's going to do it because Tadashi came up with this cool invention, even though, and not Tadashi, but Hiro came up with this cool invention. And even though Tadashi didn't show any jealousy to his brother, I felt like this movie would try to go that route, that cop out was like, oh, his brother was the one who betrayed him and did all this stuff. In reality, no, it was actually the teacher, which I was like, okay, one of three people, because when they suspected the businessman in the movie, you're like, all right, well, it can't be him, so it's not gonna be Tadashi or Mr. Callaghan, who is a teacher, and yeah, ended up being a teacher. And we don't know if Tadashi's actually dead because it never showed his body, but he's assumed to be dead in this movie. Also, it's a Disney movie, Disney animated movie, not Pixar, but just Disney. So with that being said, they're not gonna get all dark like that. We're not gonna see Tadashi's, maybe like we see his hat fly off, where, you know, like, oh well, that's the sign of loss in a Disney movie. I think this movie is great. I think it's solid. The side characters who are Hiro's friends, who I don't feel like that bond was really strong enough to show like, oh, they're actually his friends. It's just a bunch of classmates of Tadashi who heard so much about Hiro from Tadashi that when they meet Hiro, they are like, just, oh my gosh, he's just a cool kid. He's a younger brother. They're super stoked about him, but they're college students, and Hiro is like a teenager. So the gap there in the movie is like, well, these are your friends. Like, I don't know if they're friends. They helped him out with an event with the project, but I don't know if they really are like tight knit like that, where I can see them all like, hey, we're gonna help you out, man, regardless of what's going on. Granted, they do get sucked into the main storyline by mistake, because Baymax reached out to them and they like, well, heck, Hiro, we heard you're in distress. We came to pick you up and see what's going on, and could have found the masked villain appeared as well. And they're like, oh god, get out of here. And they're like, we can't really turn back now. We're now involved in this not in this mission, but in this life or death situation where the masked man tried to kill us all. So I do like how they got introduced. I think the story does flow well. I think it's a solid movie. It just, for me, I feel like there's some few things where, like, I don't know. I think the one thing about me about this movie, that it is a Disney movie, but also with that, like, I could figure out who the villain was. Now, I will say I didn't know how this movie was going to end, and I do give props to that. It ended in a way that I didn't suspect, so props. Shout out to that. Also, I liked how the characters get superpowers, but they're not, you know, automatically good. Most time you see movies where there's a ragtag group of heroes come together, they automatically know how to use their ability, they automatically know how to work together as a team. In this movie, they don't. They actually have to work on that a little bit under, you know, life and death situations, but they had to work together as a team at the end of the movie. It just wasn't automatic, like, we got this. And the movie does show you, like, them trying to work together earlier in the movie, and they fail miserably. So I do like that aspect of the movie. That's a storyline that they just show. They don't really like build on it. Like they don't like make it like we can't get together. We're not a good team. No, they're like we're friends. We're just gonna get through this together. And I do like that. I think it's kind of cool how this movie doesn't it shows but doesn't tell. And most superhero movies, especially teen movies, they always tell, and then you get the scene, we don't work together, we're not a team, I'm out of here. No, this movie does not do that at all, and I do appreciate that. I do like that. And also another thing, I do like how this movie expresses like intelligence, expresses like, just because you like building robots and do robots battles and like science and technology and create these things, you're not an outcast. You fit in with the world. Yeah, like this whole world is a bunch of nerds and people who love building and creating robots and doing things, and their intelligence and their nerdom is expressed and it's shined on. It's not frowned upon. Like the young kid hero, he is, I guess not even kids, he's 14, but he is, you know, in these battles, and he's not looked down upon for being like a battle box kind of dude. Like he's fighting with these robots. Like his genius and him wanting to be better is kind of like smiled upon in this movie. I think that's pretty cool. You don't see that in most nerdy tech movies like that. Usually the main protagonist kind of get shunned on until he joins a group of friends who are kind of like, hey, we're all the same here, we got you. Not the case in this movie. Not at all. A few other neat things in this movie. I do like how there's a Lee Cameo in this movie. This movie really hits on the whole superhero genre and use some tropes from the superhero genre. You have the nerdy comic book guy who's like kind of eccentric but odd, but he's super rich and he just hangs out because he's the school mascot, and he's all into superheroes, he's all into the nerdy stuff and all into like getting everybody to get into costumes and 100% going whole. And then you get your character who kind of like, I'm just here. I don't really want to be, you know, all that. I'm going to help out, but like, I'm really not trying to go out and be a superhero. But hey, I'm in it. Let's do this. And then you also have like, you know, your badass character who's like, I'm just here to kick butt no matter what. Out my way, I do what I do. And then you get to like your friendly character too. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to go ahead and talk about that in a moment here. But before I talk about the characters, I do want to talk about the box office and producers and director. So the director of this movie is Don Hall and Chris Williams. The writers are Jordan Roberts, Robert L. Byrd. Hey, is that the guy from Incredibles? I believe so. No, that's Brad Bird. Sorry, not the same, different guy. And Daniel Gerson are the screenwriters and writers of the screenplay. And the budget. So the budget of this movie was $165 million, and it grossed worldwide $657 million plus. So it made its money back, did a good job, and actually at the end of this movie, I was really looking forward to a sequel. I kind of wanted more. We didn't get it yet. Big Hero 6 Part 2, or Big Hero 6-2, or Big Hero 7 hasn't been created yet, but I really wanted to see more of the story because at the end of the movie, the team actually does become a superhero group in this world. So let's go ahead and talk about the cast and characters here. So Hero, who's voiced by Ryan Potter, is not like an everyday protagonist. Like he's not super like, yeah, let's do this, go ahead and go for it. Beginning the movie, yeah, he seemed like a kind of like a kid who was a rebel kind of kid. He's doing things he shouldn't be doing, and then he sees his older brother who's kind of like his role model, and he starts following his older brother. But really, he's just a young kid, just an average kid. Like, it doesn't really seem like your everyday protagonist. And you know what? Thought he was cool. Thought his character design was awesome. Thought his mindset, his writing for the character, the writing for the character of Hero was good, and I thought it delivered the story well. And then you have Scott Adsit, who plays Baymax. I thought Baymax was a really unique character. So all I seen from this movie was that he was in this red suit and he's like a fighter. But in reality, Baymax is actually a pacifist. He doesn't fight at all. And Hero has to use his brains to kind of make a chip that a program for Baymax to use to initiate his martial arts technique into like his fighter spirit. And actually there's a point in the movie where that his pacifist program gets taken out of him, and he only has a fighter program, which makes him a deadly weapon. I thought that was kind of cool. And then on top of that, Baymax had the option to not let his I guess input port be open, and pretty much say like, you know what, we're not doing that again. Baymax is a really cool character. He is very kind, gentle, giant character. Like, he is somebody who, like, soft-spoken, just bubbly. It reminds me of a big Kirby, pretty much. Kirby, the pink ball character, the Nintendo character. That's what Baymax reminds me of. Like a Disney version of Kirby, just a bigger version of him, and just adorable. It's an adorable character. Jamie Chung, who's from Dragon Ball Evolution. Sorry, Jamie, that's all I'm remember you as Chi-Chi. But she plays Go-Go. Her character was a badass character. She was like kick butt, no answer, taking over kind of character. TJ Miller, who played Fred. Fred is probably one out of the side characters a standout. He is eccentric, odd, and probably one of the side characters to get the most screen time when it comes to the story, mostly because they go to his place and you can see what he's about. I feel like TJ Miller voiced it Fred very well. Tadashi, who played by Daniel Henney, I thought Tadashi was a solid father figure, older brother character. So, like all superhero movies, there's no parents in the picture. There's an auntie, but there's no parents, which I also like that little took the Spider-Man universe there, or pretty much any other superhero where like the parents are out of the picture. The mom and dad, we're gonna assume, passed away, and Tadashi is looking after the hero and we're living with their aunt. So I thought Tadashi was a cool character for the movie. I wish we got more of him. Damian Wayans Jr., who played Wasabi. I thought Damian Wayans Jr. was good, and he brought the comic relief. His character Wasabi was the comic relief character. You have Genesis Rodriguez, who played Honey Lemon. Thought she was fine. James Cromwell, who played Robert Callaghan. So Robert Callaghan is the villain in this movie. Like I said, he's the masked guy, the masked villain. And he takes Hero's invention of this little chip that's, when it works with a bunch of other chips, it can make whatever you want, which is kind of a cool design for a villain. You don't really get villains who can pretty much use these microchips and do whatever he wants with it. He can be on stilts. He can be like Dr. Octopus. He can do anything he wants with this design. And I thought Robert Callaghan was, his reason for what he was doing, he wasn't a bad person. He just wanted revenge on this guy who pretty much killed his daughter that we assume is dead until we go into the other universe and pull her out. But he got taken over by revenge and anger and grief that like it showed Hero what he can become if Hero went down that same path. Because Mr. Callaghan did not care about Tadashi dying. He wanted revenge on Alan Tudyk character, who I'm actually surprised is in this movie. I thought Alan Tudyk did play Baymax, but he didn't. And that is Alistair Creed, who is like the business guy in this movie, who's only in it for about maybe 15 minutes, maybe 15, 20 minutes. Not really a big character in the movie, but yeah, I thought Alex Tudyk character was cool, but I really like the premise of the bad guy. Like you can almost understand where the bad guy is coming from. He's wrong, but you can understand where he's coming from in this movie, and that's Cromwell's character, Mr. Callaghan. And the other person I want to talk about is Aunt Cass, who's played by Maya Rudolph, which I kind of wish we got more of Aunt Cass in this movie. Like, she is an adorable character as well, and I wish she could have, like, she was like the cat mom. Like, she's the old cat lady who tried to be cool and hip, and I wish you could have got more of her, like, seeing the reveal of Big Hero, of Hero and his superhero group, and her being like the team, like, I guess, manager or cheerleader kind of thing. I think she was just a cool dynamic in this movie. We don't get more, I don't even get enough of her in this movie. I think it'd be kind of cool to get more of her being like the sassy kind of character in this movie, or the sassy aunt. But I did like Heathcliff, and that was the butler, and he was just so chill about everything. Like, he's like, I'm here to work. But he was also kind of, see, like, he's like the butler, like, I'm just doing my job, but at the same time he kind of appreciate and admire the kids, or the college students and the kids. But those two characters I wish we got a little bit more of. I enjoyed them, and hopefully we get them more in the future. Any other thoughts? Big Hero 6 is a family comedy movie that's an hour and 42 minutes, and I feel like the hour and 42 minutes was perfect. It was enough of a movie to get me to want more, and it was enough of a time frame that made like the movie didn't feel like it dragged out. I think it was a solid movie. I think it's perfect, and when it comes to that time frame for this movie, for the story they told, great. The music's not that much memorable. I don't remember much of the movie soundtrack. I think it's fine for what it is. The animation is great, and it still holds up in 2021, the 2014 animation. So good there. Is a movie you should watch on a Friday night? Yes, watch with your friends and family on a Friday night. It's one of those movies that everybody can get together, popcorn, all enjoy it, and great time. I'm going to grade the movie Big Hero 6 from 2014 a solid A-. It's a 90% for me. An A-. This movie is a fun movie, solid Disney movie. The only thing, like, I could see some of the villain, like who the villain could have been. I kind of already knew that going into it, just by seeing some of the signs that was given. But it's a solid movie. It's fun to watch. A good one to sit back and kick back and enjoy. Yeah, I'm not sure if I ever will watch this one again. If I will, it'll probably be like months from now. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the movie. It's an A-. If you've seen the movie Big Hero 6, what do you think? Please put in the comment section below. Other than that, see you guys in the next episode of Movie Breakdowns, and keep being awesome. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. I really appreciate that. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. If there's a review you want me to watch or do, let me know. Please put it in the comment section below this video. Also, you want to watch the last episode of Movie Breakdowns, it's right there. Just gotta click on it and you'll be able to watch it. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Love y'all, and keep being awesome.